Everyone says, talk about something you're an expert in, something that matters to you, something you want people to know about. Well, I'm 21 years old, and I would call myself pretty much a travel expert. Now, I know that everyone says they're quote-unquote well-traveled, but I think moving around is one of the earliest things I can remember doing consistently. You don't believe me? Well, here's my first plane ride. In this photo, I'm 6 months old, and I'm on my first flight to Germany. Okay, so now hopefully you believe me. Let me tell you that I've traveled to over 20 countries and counting, and I'm here to tell you why you should too. And in all honesty, to find culture and change yourself, you don't need to clock 500,000 miles. You just have to start. Travel in the way I'm talking about for this presentation can be found on the micro level as well as the macro, because culture is found within people rather than places. Travel is the cornerstone to discovering yourself in a global context. Now, some people tout meditation, or finding your soulmate, or any other number of experiences that can change you. But I'm telling you, travel is just better. Travel outside of one's own primary experience is how people discover that we are infinitely more similar than we could ever be different. Maya Angelou wrote, "Perhaps travel cannot prevent bigotry, but by demonstrating that all people cry, laugh, eat, worry, and die, it can introduce the idea that if we try and understand each other, we may even become friends." Truly, this is the kind of outlook that we can achieve if we're brave enough to step outside our comfort level and travel. And no, I don't mean this kind of travel. I mean the kind of travel where you leave your beachside all-inclusive resort and immerse yourself in someone else's culture. I mean really immerse. I mean live in someone's house, listen to their music, eat their food, listen to their stories. This is the kind of travel that changes lives and opens eyes. Travel can be throwing yourself across the globe, but really it can also be crossing the Mason-Dixon line. So whether you're traveling on the macro or the micro level, I want to share some advice to help you find yourself wherever you might be. When I was 18 years old, I traveled to South Africa on a trip to help deliver supplies to schools and provide extra hands and some volunteer work. In a place that was so polarizingly different to anything I'd ever experienced, I was terrified that it would chew me up and spit me back out. And it may well have, if I hadn't made the connections to the people I met there. I was shocked to find someone almost exactly like me on the other side of the world, with the same fears of going to university and the same fierce love of family and friends and food. Different languages, different cultures, and yet here we were, gossiping over coffee by the end of 2 weeks of knowing each other. Now, obviously, this is on one end of the extreme of the scale. This was an experience where I traveled without my parents, way outside my comfort zone to the other side of the world. But I found that this is the best kind of macro-level travel. The kind where you're a representative of your homeland and yourself, whether you want to be or not. Keeping an open mind is the best thing you can possibly do, and playing the role of the passive observer before you go around spreading your own opinions like wildfire. These are the kind of trips that teach you to be cautious of your words and your tone and even how you hold yourself in public. These are the times where everything you believe in can be picked apart in front of you and can send you home crying if you don't keep an open mind. This is the kind of travel that scares people and makes them afraid to leave their hometowns. And they're right, you should be scared. It is when you are no longer in control of the situation that you are most likely to change yourself. So yes, be scared to travel, but don't let it stop you. Of course, not all travel means macro with a capital M. Travel can be on the micro scale as well, and it can be found within your own country, even your own state, just as easily. It can be something as small as finding yourself in the cultural district of your city, or as large as a cross-country journey with your friends. All I can say is, to find culture in your home, you have to live unconventionally by wandering outside your comfort zone. You have to boldly go somewhere, no matter where that somewhere is. The truth of it all is that culture is in people, and wherever you can find people that are different to you, you'll find yourself by direct consequence. So remember, when you're traveling, try to give back as often as you can to the world that has offered you so much, maybe without you even knowing it yet. And please, remain present and in the moment. If all you're worried about is what's going on back home, you'll never get the full experience of your travels. I leave you with a quotation by real-life adventurer Mark Jenkins, who says it better than I ever could. Adventure is a path. Real adventure, self-determined, self-motivated, often risky adventure, forces you to have first-hand encounters with the world the way it is, not the way you imagined it. Your body will collide with the earth and you will bear witness to it. In this way, you will be compelled to grapple with the limitless kindness and the bottomless cruelty of humankind, and perhaps realize that you yourself are capable of both. This will change you, and nothing will ever, again, be black.